Hello, welcome to Attuned Combatives. This is Ivo Mais, and today we're going to be talking about using the staff for combat. This staff is a little bit different than the regular quarter staff that we use in Kung Fu. And today we're going to just be exploring some elements of how to use this type of a staff. As always, we're going to ask you to please consider joining our channel by subscribing and liking this video so we can create more content and share it with you. Okay, without any further ado, let's go on to the video. So when it comes to gripping, holding the staff, you can have a same side grip or reverse side grip. So both of these work. So a basic stance for the staff is kind of like in boxing you would consider this a southpaw stance, where what's traditionally a strong side would be going forward instead of a strong side. The reason for it is this is based off Eskrima striking patterns. So and again, we can use both sides, and you'll see that we are using both sides, and then we are switching as we throw those combinations in. So when it comes to the angles, we're still referring to coming back to Eskrima angle. So this would be an angle number 1 for us, angle number 1. This would be an angle number 2. So just so it's easier to follow, all of these strikes are going to be kind of mirroring our Eskrima terms when it comes to those angles. Okay, so as you can see, my stance is forward, and I'm holding the staff pretty close to my body with my elbows tucked in. So let me just show you a scenario. For if I am holding a staff, and I regularly have a staff in my hand. I live in Arizona, and I simply like having a staff in my hand. Even when I walk with my dog, I always have this staff in my hand. I actually have several different staffs and sticks that I bring with me. It's good for support, and it's good for self-defense. Sometimes we have coyotes walking around the neighborhood, and if I've never been attacked by a coyote, I came pretty close once, jumped out of the bush and then ran away, but I have my staff always at the ready. So if I'm walking and, for example, you get attacked by an animal, you have your staff right at the ready. And if it's a dog, like a wild dog that's a rabid dog or whatever, and it attacks you, you can step forward and just hit, stab. Again, we're talking about rabid dogs or aggressive dogs that are trying to cause you harm. But simply you can use the staff just to keep your distance. So you can just kind of prod them a little bit, like you would a cattle, but prod them and just controlling the distance. If you have an aggressive subject coming to you, the staff serves the same purpose. So if somebody's coming to me and asking to hold or to see my staff, I'm going to tell them to keep their distance. Now, if I see that they're aggressively approaching and try to grab my staff, I would offline and maybe throw a stab to keep the distance, right? Now, if they are more aggressive and they are coming to my face, you can do the same offline and strike, kind of like you're throwing a punch, but you are striking. Okay. So the way we would strike with this staff is you can kind of support it behind your knee. See here, I'm stepping, and then I have it wrapped around the knee, and then I throw my weight in and kind of let it fall in there. And for example, if I was to throw a punch, or I was to throw the strike at the bag, and this kind of gives you a better support. So you just kind of lean in it with your body, and then you strike. Okay, so that's our first technique. When somebody is real close to us, reaches out for us, and stepping out and throwing that stuff in there, creating a distance. Now we have an encounter with a person that also has a staff. And again, we in Arizona, when we go hiking, I see a lot of people with long sticks, with walking sticks and things like that. And you know, some of them might be aggressive. So if you ever get attacked with a person that's holding a staff or a walking stick or whatnot, so how would I use it, right? So my basic stance would be this forward stance. So if I'm already at the ready for my opponent to attack, I have again, we are in this stance where my right hand is forward. Then I'm working those angles 1. So now the energy is going to be a little bit different here, simply because the weapon requires that type of an energy. So when I'm striking down and going up, so this is rising and sinking energy. But if you notice, I am doing kind of a circle here. So my energy is circling. So I'm striking, sinking, rising with this circling motion. So I'm basically creating the circle here from this side. Sinking, rising, sinking, rising. So now when we do that, sinking and on the rise, you can strike upward. So there's no wasted movement. Maybe not necessarily upward in a sense that you go on in this direction, but as you go up, whatever you can get, you catch and you hit. So that's a basic stance. That's a basic attack. Keep it in front of you for protection, and just kind of have it crossed over your body. You would kind of have that angle 1 orientation, right? And you kind of keep it across your body, so you're protecting your whole body. If anybody's throwing a strike at you, you can deflect it, or you can strike at that strike, right? So if somebody was to throw a number 1 strike at me, I could still, with my staff, clear it and attack. Clear it or deflect it and hit. Right? So that's the idea here. If we have a strike coming from the other side, so this is a strike against this side coming at me, I would use this motion. If the strike is coming now from this side, now I still have the same grip, but I kind of hit it with the back of the staff. So here, and then attack again with the same angle. So here, 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 here. So strike number 1, this, and back, this, and this. It's kind of like we're throwing here. See that? Sinking, rising, sinking, rising, sinking, rising, sinking, rising, sinking, rising, sinking, rising, sinking. And you can see I'm drawing a 8 pattern here. So we are drawing that figure 8 pattern. Now again, 1, 2, and then coming from this side, 3 and 4. If I have a strike coming at me horizontally, so one of these type of strikes, I use the same pattern. This pattern works for pretty much everything. I drive it down, and I lift and strike. driving down, lift and strike. Same for the other side. If it's coming down this way, I step out and lift it up and drive it down. Okay, so those are basic patterns. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And that's basically how we're moving. We are moving with our strikes, executing the strikes, and we are moving forward. So that's for the basic 2 strikes. If we get attacked low, we are getting attacked in the lower regions of our body. Somebody's trying to go for your knee. For example, they're coming from this side, low strike. We are intercepting that strike, stepping in with the staff and throwing the staff, driving the staff into the ground from here. Okay, so same 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the dynamic is a little different. Now we are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we can drive it down. So now we're stepping in this direction. Now we're striking from this side, 2. And now we have this loaded up and ready to go, 3, 4. We're stepping in, 3, 4. So it's a little bit now, I changed it a little bit because I didn't step in, but if I have this 1, 2, striking from here, I have this one, striking kind of as an uppercut or whatnot. Same thing on this side. Somebody's coming for this knee or this leg, shin, whatever. Now we're stepping out on the other side and drive their staff down to the ground. This bounces off the staff and then we go into a strike, high strike. Now here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4. Have this motion, uppercut and a number 1 from the top. Now there are different combinations that we can throw in there. From this position, if you have your enemy in front of you, or your adversary, from this position, okay, now I can go into an attack without waiting. We should never actually be waiting for anybody to attack, but if we're caught by surprise, this is how we react. But if I want to attack straight and I have an adversary, it's kind of like a medium range. But from here, I can go into, it's basically an uppercut. So now you can throw it with more forward energy, or stepping forward more, or if the adversary is closer, you can go into your horse stance and adjust the distance. Okay. So here, or we can go here. If the opponent is taller, you can go here. So you adjust your staff according to the needs. If my opponent is retreating back, and now I am in this position, what I can do to gain the distance, I slide my hand over and I just step over with the opposite side of a staff. Step over and attempt to reach them. If I miss them, for example, what I have here is I have now this. And we are working this circular motion. So if I'm here, I miss this strike. I'm here. So, you're just circling it like a wheel and strike. Extend. Okay. I want to go back to this side, and I have somebody attacking me from this side. We are simply offlining and giving that stab. So how would that look on an opponent? So strike number one, you can execute it to the temple. This is strictly for a self-defense situation where you have identified that the attacker is trying to cause you great harm and you have all the elements of lethal force used against you. So again, you're aiming for the side of the head. Let's strike. If they are coming from the other side, striking at me from this side, and again I use the back side of the staff. And from here, that's that figure eight. Here and here. Again, the first attack. So you can aim here, you can aim for a collarbone, you can aim depending on the circumstances. If it's not a lethal attack, if it's still aggressive attack, you can maybe aim the collarbone or shoulder and you can cause significant pain there. 1, 2, or you can go lower, 2. Same on the other side. If you are here, so now if you're not aiming the head, you can you got to use a little wider technique. So you would go for the collarbone, Still that figure eight and that forward energy sinking and rising. Now, both sides. Okay. We also talked about attacking the midsection. So for the midsection, we are obviously going to have to lean in more, but in an upright position. We're not leaning in like this. Upright position, you just got to sink deeper and put your body into it. Same on this side. Now, when we are attacking lower regions, we are using these type of motions. And you are using 1, 2. So the energy is going to be different because now it's almost like we are pressing down. Your elbow is going straight down with a little bit of an angle. And then from here, so you have that combination. 2, 3, right? You can low, high, high. The energies for all three strikes vary. So here we are pinning down and striking down. It's almost like you're throwing a punch to the ground. When we are going higher, we almost have like this uppercut energy, but we're not going quite that high. And now from here, boom, it's like an overhand punch from above, circular punch from above. So pay attention. 1, 2, 3. If we're gonna do the same on this side, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now you can see these can be more horizontal simply because of my body positioning relative to the opponent. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like throwing, again, punch down, but now I'm throwing in a hook here and I'm throwing a high hook. So low hook, high hook. And our feet would move the same as we would throw a hook. So if we are going down, we're sinking down here, we'd probably have to lift the heel a little bit to allow for that rotation. And here you would, since there is this gap here, to make up for the distance, you would lift the heel a little more, and boom, okay? I showed some other techniques in this video where we were, for example, in this position, and we want to create a distance. If we don't want to go here and then here, we can go here by stepping in if we are farther away. But if we just go in a combination, twisting of the body is enough. But we got other options from here, here, and that lifting motion to where I'm just from here going here, 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 here. Now see how well positioned I am for the next strike. Here, 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 here. Now this strike is again circular. If we had to repeat those strikes, it's circular. If we need to step back, we would use this stance, cat stance. Simply give us distance, and we can just drop a weight back to execute the strike. Now, if the opponent step back and I'm on this side, we use this technique where I slide forward and I'm going down with a number one. So this strike is going straight up, going a circle and going down. If I'm now on this side and the opponent is moving back, I can use again this circular strike, or if he's further back, I'm still at this, holding this grip. I missed him and he's further back, I can use this long grip. This long grip here for distance. And then I can drive in. I can drop in my stance into a bow stance and attack. Okay, those are just some simple ideas. More stuff, videos are coming. In the meantime, if you are interested in developing your own staff techniques, use some of these principles, some of these concepts to create your own flow. And again, there's nothing flashy about it, but we orienting weapon training here to be more combat applicable. Okay? Have a good day.